And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of ESL Open Cup Americas number 205. That's a lot of editions. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to an amazing series here, an amazing tournament as well. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. I'm of course host Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by the lovely people in the chat, by the lovely players as well. Today we have the European edition of the Americas Weekly. We have an abundance of European players showing up out of nowhere. Usually they don't stay up this late, but we have players like Lambo, Harstem, regulars like Clem and Max Hex, but even irregulars like these two players here. And here we go, spawning in the top left hand corner of Oceanborn. We have the red Protoss player representing Mystery Gaming. It is Strange. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Finnish Zerg player. Not quite Cyril, but the blue Zerg representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. Here we go. The ZVPs are upon us here, and again I highly recommend checking out the brackets at the moment. We will be going over it in a moment as well. We'll be going over the bracket and all the players that have joined us here today. Again, a very stacked bracket, not just your typical Koreans and Europeans, but even players that have, again, not really played in ESL Americas in a long time. So I'm excited. I am ready for it. Ooh, and we're sinking our teeth into this ZVP matchup. Already we have a pretty standard opener here from Strange, but he's anything but. He does live up to his name. For the most part, his openers are standard, yes, but the follow-ups are where the irregularity does kick in. We have seen a lot of kind of 3-base shenanigans with like hidden tech or kind of offbeat timings, offbeat builds, offbeat aggression from Strange. We typically cast Strange in WTL in World Team League, but again, for the first time in a long time, he's here in ESL Americas, so I'm more than willing to feature him, more than willing to see what he brings to the table and how he compares against a player like Mixu. For now, going to be a Stargate opener. Stargate opener, everything's looking normal. This should be leading to a third base, but it's after the Stargate. That is where my attention lies. The tech after the Stargate, anyway. Meanwhile, across the map, we do have Mixu just going for a hatch gas full standard opener. Mixu, he isn't really one to deviate too much. He's typically a very standard player. He can be aggressive in ZVZ. We have seen that before, but he's not really one to all in. As far as all in, we have seen him cut workers at 66, 3-base saturation. That he is more than willing to do, but I'm not really, Mixu isn't really one that comes across as one to like Bane Bust or Roach Rush, go for a gas first or anything crazy like that. That's typically not how he approaches this, but we'll see. We'll see how we do deviate, as there it is, not an Oracle, Void Ray first. Strange. What are you up to? And Epsay getting across the map. So far, the Queen's going to be able to keep up. Lings as well, keeping up with the Adepts as well. Ooh, as we do protect that. Oh my god. We tried it. No, the tumor. No, we tried to protect the tumor, but alas, it does go down in the end. A good pick up here from Strange. Does take some hull damage, but does back the hell off. Does threaten the shade into the natural base, but we shouldn't commit. Link speed is done, and Strange needs to get the hell out of here. Meanwhile, across the map, that Void Ray. Okay, so the reason why I put a lot of emphasis on this Void Ray, the Void Ray is going to be shutting down this Overlord. It's going to be making it that much more difficult to scout, and usually we have something cheeky behind this. This will lead into a third, yes, but this could lead into a Fleet Beacon, into a Skytoss Rush. This could also lead into a Twilight Council Enclave Adepts. This could lead into a Robo and an Immortal All-In, or into a standard third base into Blink and +1. This could lead into standard play or some hidden tech. And Mixu knows this, but Mixu, he knows that anything is possible, but it's going to be difficult to determine what. And we'll see how he does piece it together. We'll see what Strange brings to the table. For now, third base is being taken, everything's looking normal for the time being. Oracles are on the way to harass. Adepts is going to be, first Oracle going to be going across the map. Mixu going for a lair here, pretty standard timing for this lair. We should soon be seeing a Roach Warren as well. So far, we're just droning, focusing on Queen production, getting our Lings on the way. Oracle is going to be threatening this natural base, but the Queens are ready for it. We have 2 Queens in the natural. Oh, we are moving over to inject, actually, and we do open up one of these bases. Here we go. We have Adepts here at that third base. Oracle's going to be threatening the natural. The Adepts, they get 3 worker kills. Oracle's getting ready to dive into that natural as well. There is no Spore. Mixu has to be careful. There's that Roach one on the way. Meanwhile, I don't know if you noticed, but that was a pretty fast Robo. A delayed Adept, delayed Forge, delayed Twilight Council. 6 more workers go down. Pretty good damage so far by Strange, especially considering that he has kept his units alive. The Oracles are still up and running, and we still have Adepts threatening Shades here towards the third. Good reaction out of Mixu, does pull back. Does shut down these Adepts in the end. Does lose 1 additional worker here at the third base, and here at the natural, the Oracles, they don't dive back in. But I did notice the faster robo. It was a very fast robo and a delayed +1 in Twilight Council, and we can see why. Immortal production. We're getting to really early immortal production here for Strange. Meanwhile, the Oracles, they dive back in. Dive back into the natural base. So far, the Queens are keeping up. They get 1 additional drone. Only 1. The Oracle's getting very low. They're going to get recalled back home. As they get recalled back home, we have Lings checking the third base for saturation. We have a gateway explosion, and yeah, this is kind of the direction that I assumed we would take. We have not just fast Immortals, we have Charge on the way. This is going to be a very dedicated push here with Immortals, Chargers, and I imagine Archons on top of this as well. Very ground-based and designed to shut down a player that's being maybe a little bit too greedy. Now, thankfully, we have a Roach Warren, and we're investing into Roaches. Something that's a little bit risky, Spire. Spire is on the way, I believe, unscattered. Let me just double-check. Yeah, it hasn't been scattered yet by Strange. Strange, he's in the dark, not fully aware of what is going on. But I am still concerned. If we invest too heavily into these mutas, then this ground-based push is going to hit like a truck. And it's going to be so difficult to hold on and defend if we don't fixate on our own ground army as well. But we'll see. Oracles, they do dive in towards the natural and towards the third in the main. The Spore isn't done. Drones are going down. The Queen's out of position. That's going to be 7 dead workers, 8 dead workers even. Oh my god, between them, they've gotten so many worker kills. I'm afraid to look as well. It's been 16 drones in total, an entire mineral line. We even have some inefficient mining. Okay, we're going back to mining here at the third base of Mixu. He is hurting a little bit here. 11 mutas are on the way. These mutas, they got a lot of work to do. They need to get some economic damage done. Here comes that push that I was worried about. We invested a lot into these mutas. That means we have that much less to defend against the ground army. Where's the roaches? That's the thing. We have 0 roaches. 5 roaches in production as we speak. Strange, this push has a lot of potential. Mutas are zooming across the map. Mixu, I believe he has to give up this space. I don't think we can hold on to the 4th. We might be able to hold on to the 3rd base as we're amassing roaches. Spine crawlers are in production as well. Yeah, we have to just give up on this 4th base. Meanwhile, the mutas, they do get across the map, and they will get damage done. Probes are going to be falling. Right now, we are wasting our time with this hatchery, which is a good thing for Mixu. Mixu, he needs more time here to amass an army. Probes are going down across the map. The first queen goes down. Decent transfuse, zoning the army away from the 3rd base. The Archon's looking a little bit exposed, though. Clutch transfuse. I'm loving the whole position micro here from Mixu. And he's getting on top of these Archons, so they're falling. 1, 2, 3 of them go down. We're going to be able to clean this up. Meanwhile, the Zealots are, yeah, again, having a really hard time getting damage done, but there we go. Now they're getting to the mineral line. 17 drones go down. But we clean up the Archons, we clean up the Immortal. The Zealots, finally, they can engage. And they do get a lot of worker kills. Meanwhile, across the map, the mutas, they're wreaking havoc. They depower the Stargate. Stargate has been depowered. And Mixu, he will defend, he will hold. And across the map, his mutas, they're getting damage done. Remember, Blink is not researched. We do focus down the Phoenix. And these Stalkers, they cannot keep up. They're trying. Oracles, both Oracles go down. We find another mineral line as well. Worker-wise, the economy is looking pretty even. Oh, can we get the Prism? We can! Prism goes down. Big pickup. So Mixu gets away with going into mutas, essentially. These mutas, they are keeping him in this. And now he's going for a big roach counterattack towards the 4th. Stalkers are trying to keep up. They're going down one after the other. Roaches, they do arrive at the 4th base. Zealots are being cleaned up. And does Strange have enough to defend? Again, no Immortals, no Archons. Only gateway units left. And GG gets called. Oh my god. GG, well played. Mixu takes game number 1. That was a scary game. That was, oh my god, Bappy. GG, well played. Oh, I do need a moment to fix that. Bam, there we go. GG, but yeah, that was a really risky move for Mixu to go for those mutas across the map, especially because at the time he hadn't scouted and he did not know that a Charger Archon push was coming. That's the thing, remember, he wasn't able to scout or confirm that. It was a very late reaction for Mixu. I do believe, though, that Strange killing the 4th worked in Mixu's favor. Mixu, he was able to buy enough time to get his spine crawlers up and running, to bring his queens over, and to amass enough roaches to fight toe-to-toe with the Archons. It was two things. It was, one, that time was bought because the 4th base was being focused down. Two, the Zealots were wasting their time in the mineral line. They were like on A move, and they were stuck trying to work through the drones, and they were attacking the eggs as well. So all the Zealots were wasting their time, and the Archons were exposed, and we could focus them down without any kind of buffer, without anything to support the Archons. So a couple of things went well for our Zerg player there, and he was able to eventually break free, snowball out of control, and now we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have the red Protoss player representing Mystery Gaming. It is Strange. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Finnish Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. Leading the series 1-0. Remember, it's a best of 3. One more win is all Mixu needs. And yeah, I do actually do think these two players are pretty comparable with each other. I do think that they're both quite close in skill. Personally, I would love to see an ace match between them, but you know, I just want to get as much as I can out of these two. But we'll see. We'll see how things do unfold. We'll see how Strange adapts here. Again, it was a very interesting build last game, going for the Void Ray into the Immortal Chargeal Archon push was again looking terrifying. But likewise, like how Strange wasn't aware of what his opponent was doing. Sorry, what Mixu wasn't aware of what Strange was doing. Strange also wasn't aware of the mutas. He wasn't aware of them, and the mutas did catch him off guard. They did cause quite a lot of havoc across the map, and they dealt quite a lot of damage. So, yeah, the mutas, in a way, the MVPs for Mixu in that last game, allowed him to get economic damage done and to facilitate for him to get the win in the end. GG. GG. For now, we are just settling into game number 2. Mixu going for a hatch gas pool. Standard opener here from our Zerg player, as to be expected. I mentioned before that Mixu, he isn't really one to go for like a 12 pool or, oh my god, as he gets a kill on the probe. That was not supposed to happen. Ay, ay, ay. So Strange has to be a little bit careful here, slipping up a little bit in the early game. One probe, not the biggest of deals, but this means that Strange doesn't have eyes on the third. One, he won't be annoying. He won't be able to be annoying and delay it and force out lings early on and stuff like that. Because the probe died, Mixu doesn't have to make lings in the early game. Usually you make like 2 to 4 lings just to clean up that probe, to deny the pylon and to expand. We can see that Mixu, he can cut corners and be greedy and just delay his lings until the adept arrives. So nice little win here from Mixu, able to be a little bit more efficient after killing that probe. While Strange does have to tighten things up, the first adept soon to be moving out across the map. As for the time being, we're actually staying back at home. Meanwhile, Stargate opener once again from Strange. Not really deviating too much. We'll see if he goes for a Void Ray first again. We'll see if he does go for that Void Ray first, or if he goes for something different. There it is. Void Ray is on the way once again. Let's go. Void Ray is on the way. Gonna be shutting down this Overlord, keeping his opponent in the dark. Mixu looks to chase down these adepts. They do shade into the main. They do head towards that main base, and it looks like so far we're able to keep up. So far, no economic damage yet, but they do get one drone. Nice Evo block, but we do commit to shade towards the natural, and here we get another couple of workers. 3 drones going down. Can we get a 4th? Up! Up! We do! 4 workers. Can we get 5? Okay. 4 workers for 2 adepts. A good trade. A very nice trade here for Strange. Overlord gets hunted down. 3rd base is on the way, but once again, our eyes are on what comes next. Last game, we saw a really fast robo for Immortal production. Here, again, we'll see if we get a 2nd Stargate, a Fleet Beacon, a faster Twilight Council, missing Forge. There's a lot here that Strange can whip out. We are loading into Alcyone. This is a very large map. It is more macro-oriented and has a long rush distance. So we'll see if we decide to embrace that, or if Strange decides to be aggressive once again. But now, Oracles are on the way. Adepts are shading out once again. We're looking to harass, looking to deal some more economic damage. Last game, we did amazingly. Remember, last game, Strange killed 16 drones, an entire mineral line. It was crazy how much damage he dealt. Can he do it again? Once again, Robo first. Oh boy. Adepts say shade into the third base. Link speed is done. 2 workers are going to be going down, but we do manage to shut down the Adepts at least. Yeah, Adepts will fall. Oracle doesn't go in yet. But once again, with the faster Robo, this, I imagine, is going to... I mean, this looks like the same build. Straight up. Looks like the exact same build as last game. To go into Immortals or into +1 and charge. We'll see if maybe we go for just faster Observers and we don't go for Immortals or something, but for now, this looks like the first game. Oh, Adepts do get caught out. Nicely done here by Mixu. The Oracles, they do dive in towards that natural base to get another couple of workers, or even a transferring drone as well. Good Queen positioning, but we get damage done anyway. 6 more drones. Again, very nicely handled here by Strange. Does rotate over towards the right-hand side, gets eyes on the gold. Mixu being a little bit greedy here, being a little bit bold. But as we mentioned, it is the same build. 2 games in a row from Strange. We have fast Immortal production and charges on the way. Just like last game, this should be leading into Archon production as well, and 1 big push on 3 bases with, what was that? I think it was 4 Archons, 2 Immortals, and then Zealous to reinforce. It's not all in. You do take a 4th base behind it, but you expand behind the push. And again, you ideally deal crippling amount of damage. See if Strange can pull this off. Meanwhile, the Oracle's once again threatening these bases. So far, we've killed 12 drones, which is a pretty good amount of damage, to be honest. Not too bad here from Strange. Meanwhile, tech-wise, ooh, we're going Lingbane. That's a little bit scary. Mixu, he's skipping the Roach War and he's going straight up Lingbane. The Roach War is now on the way. It is a little bit delayed. Strange is amassing his army as we speak. The Temple Archives is about to finish up, and then we can warp in those Archons. Mixu, he needs to get into Roach production sooner rather than later. This Baling speed, Balings, they will help against the Zealots, yes, but we need those Roaches against everything else. Here we go. We are pushing. Roach Warren still on the way. We have an infestation bit and a second Evo. Mixu, he's being so greedy. He does have the gold. I can understand the reasoning why we're being greedy here, but the push is coming, and Mixu, he hasn't seen this. He has controlled the Zonaga, doesn't have eyes here on the right-hand side, and this gold base, I think it's going to go down. We'll see if Mixu can hold on to it. Thankfully, Mixu has another backup hatchery, so we can just evacuate and go to a backup base instead. Link counterattack does get into the mineral line, and do we turn back around? The Bailings! They crash in, big connections on the Zealots. We clean up every single Zealot. That was best case scenario here for Mixu. The Link counterattack killing 14 workers. The Zealot army gets annihilated, and now we have only Archons and Immortals. Roaches are on the way. We just have to buy time. We just need to buy some time here as Mixu is being forced back. He has to respect this army. Another wave of Zealots are on the way. Meanwhile, 20 drones go down across the map. Wow, 20 workers even. The drones, they have to evacuate. Lings are coming in. Roaches are amassing. 14 roaches on the way. Big stasis trap. Massive stasis trap on these Lings. Mixu, he still isn't out of the woods yet. Trying to focus down these Archons as best he can. The roaches, they have arrived, but we're running out of queens. Clutch transfusing some of these roaches. We have reinforcements on the way. Stasis trap is soon about to run out, but the queens are falling. The hatchery goes down. Oh, the Lings. Oh, they do take a lot of hits here. Oh, God. In the retreat. And again, Mixu, he just has to hold on. He just has to survive. He does have the worker lead. Gets him some of these Zealots. But again, the Archons are doing so much in the back line. There we go. The boys are being pulled. More roaches on the way, but it looks like Strange may have too much. It's going to be close here. The Zealot army is being thinned out. We can go toe-to-toe with these Archons. Pulling the boys. So many of them are going to be going down. 13 dead workers, and it looks like Strange has broken these bases. Mixu, he had a very good start here to the defense, but we mentioned before that the Roach Warren was delayed. Mixu was being greedy. Boys are being pulled. We're trying to dive on top of this army, but it looks like it's just too much, and we are going to the ace match. GG gets called, and Strange takes game number 2. Whew. GG. We are going all the way to game 3. Again, it's been the same build 2 games in a row here from Strange, And this time on Alcyone, with the gold base, Mixu was being a little bit too greedy, going into double Evo chambers, delayed Roach Warren, faster infestation pit, into a 5th hatchery as well. Oof, a lot of greed. And Mixu, I mean, if the game went on a little bit longer, if it progressed, then we would have had a... I mean, he would have been in a really good position, getting into the mid-game, getting into 4-base saturation, but alas, that timing from Strange, a little bit too strong. And with that, we're getting into the ace match. Here we go, game number 3, the final game of this series. One way or another, the game will end here. We're going to be loading into Hard Lead. Ooh, Hard Lead. This would be a better map for Strange's playstyle here. If Strange goes for the same build 3 games in a row, it's going to have a little bit more firepower here in game number 3. There's going to be that much less room for Mixu to breathe. Rush distance by ground is a lot shorter on this map. We'll see how Mixu adjusts. I think coming into game 3, my eyes are going to be more on Mixu than anyone else, just because we've seen what Strange can do, and again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same build again from Strange. But we've seen Mixu switch it up, right? Game 1, we saw Mutas. Game 2, we saw a lot of greed. Game 3, what do we get? What does Mixu do here? How does he adapt? How does he adjust? What does he bring here to the game? And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hard Lead, we have the red Protoss player representing Mystery Gaming, tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. It is Strange. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Zerg player representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. Chat, isn't Beyond in Canada at the Shopify HQ? I think so, question mark. I think there are some of the players there in preparation to go to DreamHack. I think that's a thing. That's why Beyond has been streaming recently, I believe. Leading into DreamHack Atlanta. We might be able to cast some Beyond later on tonight. Just depends on our players' performances and the matches that are going to be ahead of us as well. Is Beyond in the... Yeah, Beyond's in turn. Yeah. All the Terrans are in the lower half of the bracket. There's Future, Cure, Beyond, Clem. I foresee a bunch of TVTs down there. And we'll see if we can get there eventually. We'll work our way down. But now though, hatch gas full, standard opener here from Mixu. This time the probe is going to be kept alive. Is going to be kept back. Hopefully this time Strange doesn't become too adventurous with it and doesn't lose it. As likewise he's going for a gate expand into the cybercore. Mentioned before as well that, again, the rush distance by ground is quite short. This goes both ways. We have seen a lot of Zerg players go for Queen Walks and Queen All-Ins, where you just cut workers early on at 60 or sometimes even 53. Just cut workers, go for just mass roaches, queens across the map, blings as well to reinforce, and just send it. And yeah, it's quite powerful. It can be quite powerful, especially if the Protoss is not quite able to scout or get a read on what's going on. If they realize what's happening too late, then it can all end then and there. So I assume, especially after the first 2 games, that Mixu is going to make the assumption that Strange is going to do the same thing 3 games in a row. This is where Strange should mix it up. This is where instead we see Strange go for like a hyper greed. I don't know if I want to go for greed actually, but like a different play style. Maybe going for something like a faster fleet beacon or into Glaive Adepts. Glaive Adepts, which would hit a little bit faster. I do think now would be a really wise choice for Strange to mix it up. To play with the series, right? You kind of lure your opponent into believing they know what's happening when really they don't. You come at them with something out of left field. For now, Void Ray first, which is fine. I'm all for this. Classic does this a lot, where he goes Void Ray first, and every game Classic does something different. He would like mix in Glaive Adepts or Charge All-Ins or Carrier Rushes. But we'll see. We'll see. For now, everything's looking the same for Strange. Adepts are going to be shading into that natural. Getting a couple of workers. Getting 2 drones so far. They're looking for a third, but Link Speed kicks in, and we shut down the Adepts. 2 for 2. Acceptable losses here for Mixu. Meanwhile, across the map, Void Ray is going to be hunting down the first Overlord. Mixu, I'm sure, going to be making sure his Overlords are being kept back. Lings are moving out now that the Adepts have been dealt with. Can be active. We saw last game that Mixu did an amazing job at keeping up with the Adepts' movement of Strange and shutting them down. Oracle's on the way to deal some harassing damage. What I will say is that Strange's Oracle control has been really solid, and there it is! Let's go! We're going for a Twilight Council. I do not see a Forge, not yet. And this is how you play out a series. Game 1 and 2, same thing. Game 3, it looks the same with the third base on time with the Void Ray, but this screams Glaive Adepts. We have a Gateway Explosion. It's going to be 4 gates in total, 5 gates in total, 6 gates in total. Oh my god. And this should be Glaives, but we'll see if we go into a different direction. We have seen Hero go for Blink. Hero has had some Blink-based all-ins with a very similar setup, but there it is. Glaives are on the way. That's going to be shading in. Mixu is here. He does shut this down. Takes down both of those Adepts. Oracle still making its way across the map. Now, this time there's only one Oracle. Because we're spending so much gas here on these upgrades and on these Adepts, we don't have as much to harass, but despite that, we still get 5 workers, 6 workers. Oh my god. 7 drone kills. Very nice damage here from Strange. Again, his Oracle harass here this entire series has been impeccable. It's been really good. We're getting so much here with these Oracles. And it's going to be the 1-2 punch. The Adepts are going to be amassing here back at home. There's no Robo, which means there's no Warp Prism, so we cannot reinforce across the map. We just have to warp in and then send it all here via ground. There it is. 5 Adepts at a time. Mixu back at home did go for a safety Roach Horn, thankfully, but oh, he's redroning. He's redroning, and because of everything that he's lost, the Adepts are now revealing themselves. We need an army. We need roaches. Here and now, immediately, Spine Crawlers are on the way. The Queens, they're pushing on forward. But that is so many Adepts, and we have 0 roaches. 0 roaches, only 6 lings. We commit to the shade. The wall is a wall. We buy some time. But we're still breaking into that natural. Roaches just now coming up, but drones are getting picked off. Shade into the main base. 7 drones going down so far. This is still acceptable damage. Behind this, a Blink on the horizon. Forge as well for +1. Strange is not all in. He's transitioning. And he's still getting damage done. Bit of miscontrol there out of Mixu, but he does push on forward here with these Queens. Good transfuse. Keeps his Queens alive. Up. Picks off one of those Queens. And we are running out of energy. We could even kill another Queen. Oh my god. Now, unfortunately, we are foregoing economic damage. We're killing Queens, not drones. I spoke too soon. Drones are now going down. And we have another wave of Adepts. Shade into the natural, into the third even. Both bases. More drones are getting picked off. Strange taking a massive economic lead. And again, these Adepts, they were surprised. They did catch Mixu off guard. That's going to be 14 worker kills. And that is 30 drone kills in total. Oh my god. Ay, ay, ay. 30 dead workers here. Insane trades for Strange. And just like that, he's far ahead. He has a stronger economy. He is soon to have the better tech with these upgrades kicking in with +1 and Blink. We have Immortal production on the way, so even a Roach-based counterattack is not going to be enough. And unfortunately, Mixu cannot counterattack because he still has Roach Speed starting. Roach Speed, it just started. Without it, we can't really push out. We can't really commit. Infestation Pit's on the way. Mixu, it looks like he knows that he can't go for an all-in just because it's too late. So we're taking up. Infestation Pit's on the way. This could lead into Swarm Hosts or faster Hive Tech. Swarm Hosts are a good way to start trying to trade a little bit more efficiently. Your Locust Wave, they can actually gain value over time and make it worth it. But regardless, Infestation Pit has been spotted. If we do go into the Hive, I'm sure this Oracle is going to get eyes on it as well. We'll see. As for now, 4th base is on the way. There it is, Hive in production. This will grant access to adrenal glands. We can get into our spellcasters, vipers, infestors. Spellcasters in general are going to be another good way to be supply efficient. They can, or just efficient in general. They are NG-based units. We'll see. Let's see if we can pull it off. As here comes Strange's main army, pushing it through the left-hand side. Meanwhile, Oracle coming in from behind, going for the stasis trap. Do we see? Oh! Alas, we do not. Big stasis trap catching half of those drones. Meanwhile, across the map, we do deny the 5th base. Deny the 4th base, even. 4th is going to be cancelled. This army is looking a little bit vulnerable. Where's the prison to reinforce, by the way? We're getting on top of the Immortal. Up! The Immortal is going to go down. Big pick off here from Mixu. Finally, something going his way. Do we have the... We do not have a prism. Okay, bold move out of Strange. We see Mixu double expanding. He needs a 4th. Getting on top of these Stalkers. Even picking up a couple of Stalkers here in the retreat. Not too bad. Oracle getting into the main. We have... There it is. Hydrogen and a Lunker Den on the way. This is a good way to start turtling, and I do think we need to get there. Unfortunately, I think Strange is going to be pushing first. He gets eyes on the Lurker Den. He knows he's on a timer. Strange knows Extended Thermal Lance has finished up, and now we're pushing. Once again, we are pushing without the War Prism. The War Prism, it isn't just about reinforcing, but the ability to juggle, the ability to control and save your robo-based units. It's quite important. But we dive on the Ravagers. Do dive on top of the Ravagers, and this may just be too much. It's a numbers game at this point. As the Stalkers, they just dive on the army. Colossus going ham. The Hydras, they're barely holding on. We may have the Lunker Den, but we don't have any Lunkers yet, and it looks like Strange has too much. GG gets called, and Strange will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, very well played. I do appreciate that Strange was able to mix it up here in the ace match and to deviate away from what he'd been showing throughout the series, so very well done, and great way to make use of the series itself. Meanwhile, solid games out of Mixu. Game 1 he was looking strong, even in game number 2 as well. Like, even despite him being so greedy and cutting corners, like even then, like it was a pretty close defense as well from Mixu. So hope he isn't feeling too bad about that. And again, this series could have gone either way. GG, well played. Well played. And with that, Strange advances on. Mixu, he will be bowing out here in the tournament. But good games nonetheless. As we have to switch over because we have our next opponent. We have our next series. Here we go.